I'm standing here in the vineyards of Cortes de Cima with Hans Kristian Jorgensen, the founder. Thank you for taking the time to be here with us today. Tell us a bit of the story of Cortes de Cima. How did it all start?
My wife and I have a background in plantation industry in Malaysia, and when we could see our chance to get out from there, we have had a dream of starting a small vineyard somewhere in the world. We could of course have done it in Australia, we could have done it in California. My wife is from California and her father had already found a place in Napa, but she felt it was too close to home. So we knew about Portugal because we had some friends here. And so we arrived here. When we came back from Malaysia, we bought a sailboat and we did sail around in the northern waters, in the Scandinavian waters for a couple of years, and then we sailed down to here, to the Mediterranean, and we came to Portugal, and we felt that this was a nice place. We especially liked the climate and the people, which are probably the most friendly people in Europe. We decided we would buy something here. That was in '86,
yeah.
And we looked around and left the boat and went inland and sailed further down and spent about 3 months looking into everything here. And we had some difficulty in finding what really we wanted. And then it took us 2 years to find this place here, and it was somewhat bigger than we had set out as a goal.
Somewhat bigger, you say, which means no. How big is it really?
Well, it's 300 and well, we have something like 450 hectares.
And how much of that is planted with vines?
Well, it is planted 150 hectares.
Right. So it's somewhat smaller, somewhat bigger than a garden.
Well, when we started, there was only 5 hectares with vines here, which were planted under olives, which did not really work out. So we pulled them out, and all the vines we have here we have planted from the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And we have planted the varieties which we were told to plant, and what we found out was the best to do. We made mistakes, and we have remade our mistakes, because what is the secret about growing good grapes in a hot climate? That is varieties. You have to find the right varieties. There are varieties which does and like the heat and does extremely well.
So now what you have planted and what you're using now is some of the traditional varieties, but also some very unusual varieties for the region.
That's right. We have imported varieties, and we have the local varieties. Portugal has some of the some of the Portuguese local varieties are only found here.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody else has got these varieties.
Mm-hmm.
Take a variety like touriga nacional. It's the only place to be found is Portugal.
Mm-hmm.
We have got trincadeira. We have a number of varieties which are quite interesting,
mm-hmm.
and will be something for the future.
Mm-hmm. You focus on 5 different varieties.
Yes.
For the red wines, which is
aragones, Tempranillo, trincadeira, shiraz, which is an imported. We have touriga nacional and petit verdot.
Yes.
And these are after about 20 years of growing wines in the Alentejo, we have found that these are the varieties to plant.
What do you think about the future of Portuguese wines in general?
I think Portuguese wines are not known to the world. There are very good wines in Portugal, and we have it's an uphill battle to advise the world about Portuguese wines. There are so many wines in the world, so it's not an easy thing. But wines are coming out of Portugal will show themselves in time to come. Portugal wine industry, in my opinion, has a bright future.
There is a bit of a debate in Portugal about should you focus on these very strange named Portuguese varieties, or should you focus on the well-known international so-called varieties?
Well, it will take time for Portugal to make these, especially these Portuguese varieties, known to the world. So we need to have known varieties in order to introduce the Portuguese wines. We have to make blends with our varieties, with known varieties, and that is one way of coming in and get the attention. What we have learned is that you need to have a different classes of wine also. Wines which are selling to the mass publicum.
So entry-level wines, which are almost supermarket wines,
yes,
or at least very reasonably priced wines.
You need to have them. Yes, they have to be reasonably priced, and they have to be very commercial.
Yes.
That is necessary to have this, and then you can have some of the other specialities along with it, which sort of hang on to these entry wines, these commercial wines.
Yes. Hans Kristian Jorgensen, Cortes de Cima, thank you very much for taking the time to talk to us. Thank you.